Hello and welcome to the Sheep Seats. I am your host, Matthew, aka Sheep, aka Dark Sheep, and we have some fine gentlemen joining us this evening. We have KC Bubba, we have Chris, aka B3 Isball, who I'm saying just that way to bug him. What's up, guys? We just got done recording a wonderful, if I have to say so myself, podcast with for the Bench with Bubba. Here, I'm already forgetting the name of it.
I appreciate you joining. You guys were awesome. It was a great time. Thanks for having me on this. It's like we're just kind of carrying things over, and I think we're going to laugh a lot more on this one, though. It feels like we have a good time here, and it's going to be great. We almost got a strip tease before it started, so it's going to be a lot of fun here. I'm excited about hanging out with you guys for some more time and doing some drafting this time. We talked a lot of strategy. Let's draft now. Let's do it.
Yeah. So if you wanna try and hop in here, we got a little bit of a. If you want to get in, Bubba, on this draft.
Let's see what I can do.
Helps if I add the screen. Oh, and instantly filled. So I don't know if you got in there.
I did not.
Did not.
Just missed me.
Sorry, I just missed you. You can't get in.
Nothing will top the surprise perfect game entrance that I managed to finagle my way into last year.
Yeah,
that was good stuff.
That was still the best stream we did last year.
I agree.
We got Jason in here. What's up, Jason? Yeah. So, Bubba, how much have you got down so far? How often are you drafting on Underdog this year?
Oh, nothing like you guys, but I think I have 20-ish drafts so far, which is going good for me. I plan on maxing out the bunt. I'm going to have probably 20 to 25 dingers, and then we talked about I'm going to get some eliminator fun in there and definitely do a solo shot. So, from years past where I kind of dabbled in like 5 to 10 just to have some fun, I'm definitely upping the ante this season. Let's put it that way.
So next year you'll be maxing the dinger. That's just how the trajectory goes.
Well, after I win the dinger this year, then yes, naturally I'll max it out next year.
Hey, what's up, JMC? Let's see, who do we got in here? We got Raleigh Durham gets the first pick. We got Spike Week, Eric Beam4 hanging out, pick number 2. JMC is in the draft. We got pick 7. Jay Riddell, friend of the show, regular viewer and supporter. So not too much of a friends and family draft here, just about half the room. But at this point, I feel like most rooms I know half the room, just being out there and talking to so many people.
And when you put your face out here the way you do, it's only a matter of time before they know Friday night it's time to hang out with sheep. So that's what you got.
Yeah, did you get in? Did you get into the next room?
Oh, let me just do it right now. I didn't even try after.
Doing
this. I'll jump in one right now. I'm an idiot.
Let me jump in. Don't know how to do a split screen though, but definitely.
We'll keep yours. I'll keep you updated on how I do.
We got a fun one starting right here. William Power, who I definitely don't recognize, going with the number 3 Garrett Cole.
Ooh.
So whoever is drafting in the 11th spot, just thank them. Because they will get an outfielder.
I just got in, and I have the 12th pick. We're going to test our strategy talk right out the gate, boys.
Yeah, it looks like Bernie's a little bit late. Adam's a little bit late. Oh, all right. So we are here. We're on the clock. Pretty much this is 3 people for me. Julio, Tatis, or Jordan. I think I'm going to go Tatis on this one tonight.
I'm a big Tatis fan this year. I think he's got the MVP upside at 40-40. So that's just me. So don't hate that pick at all.
Yep. And one of the maybe wrongly valued guys right now based on the injury is Manny Machado. So anytime I start with Tatis and get a Machado, although he is up 1 spot from earlier today.
How do you know you do too many drafts? He knows he's up one spot from today.
Maybe yesterday. Well, it just came up. Maybe it was a few days ago. It came up recently, and I was looking at him. When earlier in the week when we were doing the infield stacking dingers show, he was at 60. I noticed because I was talking about him there. So
the question I'm trying to think off the top of my head. So Machado obviously is the stacking piece you want. Who's the third? Like, I'm not the biggest Kim guy, but I guess that's the dude. Xander's there, going to play second base this year. Who are you looking at? I guess are both of you guys looking at? I'm just curious now to pair with Tatis, or are we waiting to hide that knowledge?
No, I mean it is Machado, it's Xander, and then I'm pretty much done with San Diego.
Okay, that's what I was wondering.
Yeah, it's not Kim for me. He just, I don't know. It feels rich to take him where he goes. It feels like that's kind of a ceiling price for what we might be getting.
Yeah,
it's good to know that you underdog guys share a similar, like, the season long streets is don't pay for the career season. So you guys are kind of in that same boat of just because you did it last show, let's not get crazy on this one.
Yeah, this is the interesting name now with Profar going back there. I have not got there, but definitely someone to think about now. What's your read on that outfield? Who else is going to play outfield?
Well, like shameless plug, I did team previews for all 30 teams on Bench with Bubba, and I had a really good friend, Sammy Reed, do the preview for the Padres as a Padres fan, and we got to the outfield right now. Oh boy, it was like he said, if Preller doesn't spend any money, there's gonna be some serious issues on that squad. So yeah, it's not pretty to say the least, is the nicest way I can put it.
Yeah, Cronenworth is interesting. I just feel like he's kind of dust, but maybe I'm wrong.
He might not even play regularly with Xander moving to second base now. Like it's gonna, unless Cronenworth plays first base full time. His playing time's in question now too.
Yeah, so I went Bryce here. Really could go anywhere from there. Any of those infielders. This is a common start. Outfield, infielder. I'm not doing a ton of Mike Trout, or maybe I'll take Kyle Schwarber over here, but yeah, pretty normal start.
Yeah, Harper's another one of my MVP candidates, so I'm with you.
Shout out here. Your team previews are the best.
Matt checks in the mail. Thank you.
Yeah. Which Matt, though? You don't know which Matt.
Yeah, that's the beauty of it. I'm going to send it to this guy in Wisconsin. I know.
Yeah. I think if you have like 5 fantasy people in a room, white male fantasy guys in a room, it's likely that 2 of them are going to be named Matt.
That's funny.
I actually researched that the other day, and it happens 67% of the time.
That sheet is coming out next week, folks.
The correlation is incredibly high.
Here's a late round name that's got some steam in the underdog area. Nelson Velasquez. You have any read on him?
I love him, and I love his power upside. I actually wrote about him for a Fantasy Pros as a late home run source for season long, and that plays into kind of the thing we talked about on my show is if you're going to take kind of a chance late on somebody, you want either the power upside or something else. And Velasquez, if he does run into regular playing time, it's a 40 home run bat. Like it's a ton of power. It's just the question of, do you believe he's going to keep the job all year? That's the question. Kansas City needs power. So I like it as a kind of roll the dice pick late. Maybe a late pairing with like a Bobby Witt or somebody that could be fun on your squad.
Yeah, Bobby Witt's up there as my most owned guys, so definitely like to pair him with that.
Look at that start from the third spot you mentioned earlier.
Yeah. This is something, we talked about. I mentioned like this guy's just doing what they want. They're having fun, so we're happy with it. And
I think I'd love to know how this finishes right now. Like when the season ends, how does this? Because it is a curiosity thing for sure.
All right, so we could go an outfielder here, but it's really hard for me to pass up Devers. And Boston sets you up for So getting behind at outfield a little bit here and taking the infielder. Boston does set you up for that Duran or O'Neill pick later on if you want to pair.
So I remember, Chris, you said you have a lot of O'Neill. I know I do too, and you said you don't feel great about it. So are you at least being like naively optimistic, or are you optimistic? Because I know I'm probably naively optimistic, but I'm curious your thoughts.
Definitely naively optimistic. I think part of it is just in comparison to Duran, who is going right there as well. I was taking just O'Neill over Duran a lot early, and then kind of backed off and didn't take either for a while. And I kind of wish I had been a little more flat from the start, or had not overcorrected, but corrected to take some more Duran, because that feels like a little bit of a miss. And now I am thinking his like, I feel like he's gonna shoot up shortly. Like this news that he's gonna be hitting leadoff, plus we'll get the like, oh, Duran like locked in, like first full year in the bigs, like the whole thing. I feel like he's going to be a riser, so I kind of wish I got it early.
Okay, I just want to mention something really stupid on my part right now because I don't draft online very often. The fact you can set your queue by team is ridiculous to me because you can't do that on your phone. I'm on my phone right now and we're doing this. I'm like, no, that doesn't exist. That is genius.
Yeah, you can search by team. You just type in the team in the search.
Holy crap. Yeah, there it is. Wow. Wow. Thanks. See, this is why it's fun, folks. This is why I have you guys on my shows.
Yeah, there's like,
wow.
Yeah, so tips and tricks there we didn't even get into. But yeah,
that's nifty.
This is called the star method. This will get you in trouble. You will make some bad auto picks. But this is how I like to draft because as I'm drafting, it's not that I'm drafting off the top of my queue. I'm looking here where the guys are starred. And like when I'm making decisions like right now, do I take one of these outfielders? I know Nick Castellanos gives me a little correlation benefit. But I think I want to start. I think
you want one of those pitchers.
I do want one of these pitchers. I'm going to take Luis Castillo as an anchor here.
Yeah, that's not a bad start though. Castillo with Harper, Rafi, and Tatis. Now, are you trying to start with? Okay, let's just have fun for you. I'm going to be the host for a second. Which stack are you prioritizing? San Diego, Philadelphia, or Boston?
None of them at this point. No, I'm not saying that to cover up at all.
No, it's
it's just doing a bunch of teams. I'm going to take these pairs and the stacks as they make sense in a draft. So that's why I even like go through guys that like I don't even know I want to draft, like Raphael or Abreu, but just to have that there, because the 30-second clock can be so short that like having these little indicators and stuff to shortcut some of my decision making just makes sense.
Agreed. Yeah, thanks, Bloom.
Ryan, is that hard to do or not?
He'll answer no.
Yeah, this is the truth of the matter, and something I keep talking when if anybody at Underdog is listening, and I know it's been designed, they haven't implemented it, but we need that sort by queue, sort by ranking, and sort by ADP. That's as wonderful as the interface is. We need a little bit better sorting options.
The good thing is kind of to your point there is they take those comments like very well. Like they do a lot of things to keep adjusting the product. It's one of the better platforms to make it as user friendly at whatever the user wants. Essentially, I'll give them a ton of credit for that. They do a great job of basically giving us what we want and more. So I'll give them a bunch of credit on that.
So, Chris, where do you think William Power lives?
Well, okay. I've been analyzing the geographies here.
Do you have like GPS data tracking?
He
So
shares
one
a
of the
VPN with Chris across the board.
So one of the fields that they included in the Dinger data last year was zip code. This one is pinging as New York metropolitan area. It just so happens that he is Subway Series. We're drafting for this is actually a picture perfect pennant draft. Loading up your stacks from both ends. We're going to the World Series. It's run it back like it was 2000, 2001. I don't know. One of those, whichever Subway Series, World Series that was. But yeah, if I had to guess, the next pick, are we going Starling Marte, Stanton, maybe like
Verdugo.
I was gonna say Glaber, but Glaber already went. So I
Is
don't know.
Verdugo on the board still?
Yeah, could be a fun game. Pick the next Met or Yankee to get drafted by Bill Power.
That is hilarious. That is too good.
So I do want a outfielder soon, but I don't think Machado is getting back to me, and I do want to prioritize him with Tatis. So and now I need to turn the I don't know if I'm going to turn the button off, but I need to turn my blinders on to the green guys based on where I've gone.
I do that a lot. I start like just closing green guys off my board. Like I don't even want to see you. We're not talking.
Yeah, we got a little Houston stack over here. Oh, Mike Trout.
Yeah, I brought props. I really wanted to be in a spot to talk you into taking Mike Trout, but the moment kind of came and went. So JMC snagged him, and now he's building a monster over there. Coincidentally, asking about late Houston stacks as he stacks Altuve and Bregman. So crowdsourcing his late picks.
Yep.
Yeah. So there's kind of three late guys. You got Abreu. You got I guess you got Chas McCormick. I don't really consider him late where he's going. But the late guys are more infielders. So I think the field has overcorrected on Jeremy Pena. I have a lot of him as a late round, even on his own. So that's a guy I like in Houston. Are you guys getting to the catcher in Houston? I think that's an interesting question.
In real life baseball, I love Yainer Diaz. There's not too many catchers I will take though in this format. That's the only downside. He plays, I think, like 130 games because DH will be clogged up on that team. That's the problem.
Yeah, he's very, very fun. I've taken him a handful of times late to fill it out. I agree with you, Matt. The Pena feels way out of whack. That feels like overcorrected big time. Even Abreu feels like a nice value where he goes. The catcher thing is interesting because with the scoring period being a week, catchers are probably the least likely position to play 6 or 7 days in a row. Like it's just you don't see that very often in today's MLB.
All right, I'm very tempted by taking a pitcher here. But I don't want to get too far behind an outfield. So I'm going to take Seiya.
Love me some Seiya. That's beautiful.
Are you like, what do you think about his run so far in the majors?
I love it. He started out last year injured, kind of showed on the field. Got healthy, though, in the second half. He flourished. And, you can't just look and say, oh, he did this in the second half. This is who he's going to be. But for a guy that's really never played in the bigs, I kind of take it a little more seriously. And I think there's a 20, 25 home run guy with a little bit of speed, but a great batting average, great OBP skills, which plays in this format especially. I think there's a lot to like about Seiya Suzuki.
All right. Let's see. So we got one person on the end here without a pitcher so far. Wild Bill is also without a pitcher. JMC takes his first pitcher. We'll see what Eric does. I'm going to guess that Eric does not take a pitcher. At least he'll take one maybe out of these two.
Williams on deck. Oh, Williams is on the clock. Let's wait with bated breath.
Anthony Volpe. Come on down.
Dude,
yeah!
Amazing. So now we got to go Mets. So like this might be your Starling Marte pick right here.
I mean, the next ADP guy is Stanton.
Oh, that would be so good.
So,
or what pitcher? What Mets or Yankee pitcher? Do we go Carlos Rodon? Is he taken already? Rodon taken?
No, that could be it.
That might be the one.
This
folks.
feels like a nice Rodon spot.
Yep, I was thinking that this is about, especially with the new news out, he's throwing 95, 90, whatever. Like, let's get Rodon, folks. This could get fun.
Yeah, unfortunately, Matt, your team has become secondary. We're just gonna be picking
that's
off
fine.
the Yankees and Mets guys here. We're just gonna predict that for the rest of the night, I think.
Usually my teams are secondary anyway, even when I'm doing them for myself.
But you're having fun. That's all that matters.
Yes.
I like Rally's team too, out of the one. Like that's a very fun way to build an Acuna team.
Yeah, a lot of people are gonna be taking I guess did he get an option to stack? LB's I guess he could have taken LB's. LB's really fell. Yeah, he could have taken Harris or LB's. Interesting that those guys fell. All right, so he took DJ LeMahieu. We were all wrong.
Oh, DJ. I'm just that sunk in for a minute. I'm like, oof.
All right. Let's see. So I'm actually going to go a little bit off the board here and take Riley Green. Someone that I know Chris is big into this year. I'm just looking at the options here, and Yoshida. He's not really a super big priority in Boston stack. I don't know if I'm underselling. Maybe he needs more time to adjust to the US too.
Well, Chris was a Boston stat guy. How's Yoshida fit for you?
He's on the lower end for me, I think. I just in this range, I love the pitchers. And if we're like, okay, so if we're coming up here kind of on this turn where we're in the 80s, mid 80s ish, and I have probably one pick's a pitcher, the other pick is going to be, if I go in Boston, it's going to be Casas like 10 times out of 10 over Yoshida for me.
Completely agree.
We got some love for the Texas hat there.
Yeah.
So we actually in the Bench with Bubba episode, we did get into initial MLB Eliminator discussion, and I think we'll definitely get a more thorough Stacking Dingers episode out there.
Yeah, that's a whole podcast in itself, like you guys said. That there's so many layers to unpeel on that thing. Even the solo shot, but the Eliminators, like that's such a great concept. Like, my goodness.
This is funny. So there's a little bit of context here. Last week, the Badge Bros did a stream during the day with Pete Overzet, and last year they got him to draft one baseball team, and it advanced out of the regular round. So they had him on this week, and he pulled an audible and started a perfect game draft on their stream, the $100 buy-in, and the first pick was DJ LeMahieu.
Oh my goodness!
By the first person.
Oh my goodness!
I'm taking Jesus Luzardo fall here.
Love him.
Obviously, Casas went, and I'm going to prioritize this fall over the stack partner. Yeah, so that draft got thrown out already. So, but
nice.
There's a little bit of an unfortunate history here with DJ LeMahieu.
That's funny.
And that was even before Boone said that he was going to start the season leading off. That was like the day, like an hour before that got announced. So maybe they had insider info, but I think they've just set because that draft feels so slow. I think they just set their cue for late guys and then entered the draft and then just didn't see that it started.
The one eliminator take I wanted to get off that we didn't get to on Bubba's show was about hitters and catchers specifically. I think that there are some valuable catchers in just regular old Underdog because the way, hitters score points, you can have a week that goes off. But for the eliminator, I feel like you can ding the catchers a little bit because you're never like maybe Adley, you're getting 6 or 7 games most weeks. But some of these other guys that get drafted, like even a Will Smith, who I love, like the shenanigans with the playing time with some of these catchers is going to be peak tilting if you really want to go that route. So I would much rather take my shots on some of these guys later on in like dingers, bunts. You'd solo shot, sure. I think that in the eliminator, they're really the only position group that's hurt that isn't built into like the structure of the game.
Makes sense.
So we do have a showdown here with Wild Bill. Hey, funny, Wild Bill and Slev. Neither of them have taken a pitcher yet.
Bold strategy.
This is a very interesting team.
Oh my goodness! Sorry, you missed Will Power's last 2 picks. It gets better and better. He's still doing it. He's still doing it, man. This is unbelievable.
If only there was a world where we could have covered up the other picks that he made and just showed Rodon at 94. So I could have come in here and said, guys, Rodon at 94 is good. Did you see him throwing 95 the other day? Like, I like it. But with the context, I can't defend this. So unfortunately,
this is unbelievable.
Down with Will Power.
Sorry. We have two standoffs. I only have ever waited this long on pitching. That's a bold strategy.
And I've seen Deadwood, so I know how it ends for Wild Bill.
I'm gonna take another outfielder here. I was thinking about one of these pitchers, so I'll put it to you, Bubba. Since Chris and I just talked about pitchers, if you had Steele, Reagans, and Miller, and maybe even Mitch Keller as part of that, which one's your priority?
Still Reagans, Miller. Ooh, I go Steele for the reliable innings if that's what you really want. I think you talking Bryce Miller. I think he's got your upside play though.
Bobby Miller.
I go Steele then because I'm still worried about Bryce on Bobby on how they fully utilize him. So I like Steele.
Oh, Chris, he threw faster today.
The guy's name is literally Noel Bosox, and he's hyping up Yankees pitching, and you think this is a reliable source?
I think he can read numbers.
I love it.
I know he can read numbers. He dressed too well.
Gonna need a third-party verified tweet for that one. But no, I kid. No Bosox is he's active in some of the Badge Bros baseball channel for sure. And whenever he doesn't chime in all the time, but when he does, I listen, and he is very, very sharp in these things. And he's chimed in on Twitter a couple times on some of the stuff that goes out. So he's a killer in these streets. So pay attention when he brings up things like Rodon throwing 97.
So Slev, no pitchers yet. Wild Bill gave in. He took Justin Steele.
Like it.
So that's
he went Steele Reagans, like your Q's getting just eaten up. Bobby Miller. There's all the guys we just discussed. Boom, 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 boom.
Yeah, Hunter Green.
It's nice value on Bobby Miller.
Yeah, he's a guy I've already know I could be way wrong on. That's just a fact I'm living with.
So this is interesting to decide. Mitch Keller is interesting here.
Don't take Kyle Bradish.
I have plenty of Kyle Bradish. You don't need to remind me. But I'm going to continue the San Diego stack here, and be 2-4-4, and now look to fill in my pitching. The overflow draft has got ahead of us.
There's one person that's derailed this draft in terms of our time spent talking about them. It's Will Power's fault.
I can't wait to see where he's going next. Like we're eventually running out of people. Like eventually it has to like who's the third team he's picking? That's the $1 million question, I think.
Oh, I don't know if he does. I think he
well,
can
not
do
yet,
it.
but eventually he's going to have to deviate, right? Eventually.
So like Jason Dominguez is like a lock, right? That's got to be one of them. That's for sure. Like this guy can't leave this draft without him.
He's drafts like Austin Wells and stuff. We got some big Francisco Alvarez come on down. There's Rizzo.
There you go.
Rizzo.
Maybe
I don't mind
Michael.
Rizzo though. Rizzo's a guy I've been taking late a lot actually.
Rizzo is fun.
Me too. Yeah, I don't. Where do you think he bats this year?
Like for a while he was leading, like hitting second. I think he's probably more like 5, 6. But you never know. There's a lot of moving parts, and that team can't stay healthy to begin with. So it's hard to pencil down exactly where he hits all year.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Turn.
Oh, sorry.
No, you're fine. It's a nice little Horner Christopher Morel turn.
Yeah.
Trent Grisham. That's
Trent
a great
Grisham.
call. That's a great call.
I have a non-zero amount of Trent Grisham.
Yeah. Yeah. That's like on the do not draft list. That's
no. I have some. I'm sorry. I said that confusing. I do have some. I'm just still maybe that little bit of Brewers fan in me still.
On 11 rounds, over halfway through, we are on 2 teams.
Snap take on the Verdugo pick there, wasting no time to get your guys.
Unbelievable. Like what pitchers are left for him? That's the real fun. Like Sean Manaea's got to be on the team, right?
Yeah.
Definitely.
Oh man.
David Peterson.
Nestor Cortez, come on
maybe
down.
Maybe he takes Michael King not checking the news for the last couple of months.
He uses it as his like tiebreaker. Like, hey, he was
pinstripes for life.
Where's A-Rod?
Duran does go from us. So let's take a little risk here in Shane Bieber, a boring guy, even if he is healthy, but we'll take a value on him here.
I'll allow it because we're outside of the Bassett range. Like once he's, we've passed the point of no return on Chris Bassett. So just take the Cleveland version of him.
Now Wild Bill does not take another pitcher in his next 2 picks. So he's got 1. Let's see if Slev takes 1. So let's look here. Yeah, 4, 6. So I don't know. We'll see if they go 7 or 8 pitchers. It'll be interesting. we got a prediction that he picks a retired guy.
Andy Pettit, does that come on down? Not sure if Clemens qualifies there. Boston or Toronto. I guess you can pick your poison.
Oh, this is interesting. He skipped Stanton. He's not feeling Stanton. Yet.
I didn't know he had the option. I didn't know he had the option to skip. I didn't think DJ LeMahieu so early. I'm just more curious the pitching situation. That's where it's going to get real fun.
Can we get a Ben Rortvedt?
Well, someone's going to be the bodyguard. Like, is there? You guys, there probably is. This is a dumb question, most likely. Someone needs to just track this team for the season. I need to know, like, what are the point totals? How's this go? Because this is an electric factory. I understand picking 2 teams, but to pick these 2 teams, bold strategy.
All right, Slev is now 6-6 in his outfield and infield with no pitchers.
What's the latest you guys have waited for pitching? Because this sure is way past my prime.
This definitely later than me. I probably haven't left the top 100 without a pitcher, I think, in any of these. That's probably, for me.
Yeah, I'm trying to think.
There goes Bradish.
Yeah, probably 8 rounds probably is the most, and I don't do that very often. Oh, so we do get Bradish gone. I'm going to take an outfielder here and build a Jack Swinski spike week into this lineup.
Just to Captain Jack on the one I'm drafting. I feel you.
There we go.
Mine was in round 12 as well.
Yeah, Chip Skylark is our resident no pitcher fan. Never pitcher before pick 100.
I need
He's
to
really
try it.
only,
I usually always have at least one by round 5 or 6. It feels like I don't wait a whole lot past that. Like sometimes earlier than that. So I need to maybe test my boundaries.
Yeah, we got to put down this like never pitcher cult because I feel like things are getting a little out of hand. The impetus for this, I think, was Billy. Billy Jones has been on here before, and he does a lot of great visualization stuff too, and he's great on Twitter. He did an analysis where he took, when we think draft capital, we think about it with like rounds kind of in mind, and that is the aforementioned.
Yeah.
He basically took Mike Leone's draft capital curve that he used for NFL best like BBM analysis this past offseason and applied it to baseball. And so he cut up pitchers into a like number of pitchers, but then also how much draft capital you spent. And he found that the best single subset of teams were teams that drafted 9 pitchers and spent, I think it was bottom 20% draft capital on them. So essentially taking a lot of cheap pitchers was the best performing, very, very, very small subset last year, because I will quantify it as, I think it was like 150 teams out of 55,000 that went that route and like popped on the numbers. But I do think the general idea of his stuff was essentially, we're oversimplifying it by making it just 6 versus 7 versus 8 versus 9. Like that is, it's a good foundation, but you need the context of how much picks you're spending on them essentially. And if you're going to do something at the extremes, like 8 or 9 pitchers, I think is, you just need to go about it in the right way.
Makes sense.
And Chip, of course, is your pitcher hipster. It was before the data that he was into it.
Too good.
Yeah, JMC and DJ here pointing out that's the 9 pitcher is good for your 2-start week potential.
That does make sense because it's hard. Like that's one thing we talked about. Even you want that 2-star guy later, or whatever, but we can't predict that. And when we're drafting this time of year, so that's I guess one perk to the extra pitchers is it layers in extra chances at 2 starts, but it's so hard to predict. I guess
we did get a question a little bit about Eloy and Buxton and their profiles as the oft injured power hitters in this contest. I don't know, either of you guys have any strong takes there?
I don't have any shares. If I was going to have any, it'd be Buxton, just because I think he's got the more. I don't know. It's tough because Eli can hit for average, and some pop. Buxton's got the higher pop ceiling. I just don't trust either. But that's also, I'm a very risk averse person. That's part of my problem. So I don't know.
Okay.
I think I have a decent amount of each, nothing crazy, and most of it is tied to White Sox or Twin stacks. So I got a lot of, I like Luis Robert, so I have a lot of Robert, Eloy, and then some cheap Andrew Bond stuff. And then on the Twin side, I love Royce Lewis, so that kind of falls naturally. And I have on the hipster front, I had Matt Wallner before it was cool to have Matt Wallner. So I have some bullpen Matt Wallner shares back before any of you people knew about it. It was just me and Numi holding candles at twilight for Wallner.
So good.
Apparently, you're sniping Grill. There.
Yep, it's got my hey, I said it on my show. Well, you might not have watched my show. I said that's a guy that I share a very similar sentiment on. Lots of shares on Brendan Fott right now.
We got cut off in our pitcher preview last night because we did, I think, 51 pitchers in 2 hours, and so Matt had to shut us down before we got to Fought. But I think Brendan is also on the Fought wagon. So like it's a consensus, at least here among the people that stream with us, that it just, I feel like it's just too cheap, and I don't. He keeps going backwards. Like I kept drafting him when he was like going in the 140s, and then it's like, well, if I had him at 140, I can take him at 152, and now it's like, okay, 163, yeah, and it's like I haven't drafted in a couple weeks, and it's like, holy shit, you guys are letting him go to 170 now? Like,
Crazy.
okay,
yeah, that's the one thing, and we didn't really talk about it on my show, and I know we let off by saying, man, in one day he dropped a point in ADP, but like. I don't notice a ton of moving the way, like, maybe in NFBC when we watch like 10-day intervals or whatever, you can kind of notice certain guys coming around. It feels like to me, it's slower in Underdog, or maybe I'm just like not noticing it. Maybe your guys' thoughts on that, because that is something that stands out for me.
So I think Underdog it's a rolling 3-day average or 2-day average. It's one of those, it's a small interval. But I think just the volume of drafts in baseball so far hasn't really. It picks up real quick, where it changes very fast at the start of the contest. But after that, it kind of stabilizes until something happens. Like the fun ones are when like a new projection system gets dropped. So like when Derek came in with the bat, it's like everybody plugs it into the calculator, and then for the next week, it's like, oh, all the bat guys go up, and things kind of stay level until like a new what's it called? New information comes to light.
No, that makes a lot of sense, actually. Just simple stuff like that my brain doesn't compute.
All right, so I took Bryson Stott to go with the earlier Harper. I was deciding there if I wanted to get a pitcher or an infielder. Here's a question from Chip. Why does Grayson get the benefit of the doubt for struggling when he came up and then putting it together, but Brandon doesn't for me? Doesn't for me to make a serious point. So yeah, that's definitely the question. We saw Fott really not really succeed, but succeed so much better at the end of the season when he made that change of where he was on the rubber. But people are ignoring that. But happy to go with the higher prospect pedigree in Grayson. I think maybe it's as simple as that. People know who Grayson Rodriguez is, and maybe they don't even know still who Brendan Fott is.
I think there's a lot to that. Grayson had felt like much more of a hype train coming to the bigs than Brandon Fott did, unless you're like a hardcore prospect guy. So that'd be my 2 cents.
Yeah, I agree. And I think the thing with Fott, besides like the skills and kind of the rough start and then kind of fixing things mechanically near the end of the year, he's like, his innings base is built. Like he threw, I think that was that chart that Tuma tweeted out the other day. He threw like 187 innings or something last year across all levels, or 180, like a lot for a guy who's just kind of coming up. And Grayson had the injury 2 years ago, so he had like a massive increase last year. I think it was like he threw 80 more innings or something year over year. So like just from a pure volume perspective, like they're gonna give Fott the ball every 5 days, and like as long as he doesn't get hurt, like they have a solid rotation, but it's not like there are other guys that are clamoring for his spot. And like he pitched well into the playoffs on a World Series contending, like World Series finalist team. Yeah, so I think they're going there, and I'm going there with them.
Our boy's still staying New York strong, by the way. It's his legendary stuff at the moment.
Yeah, and Slev got Giolito and Erod for his first 2 pitchers. Oof. Which, if I'm gonna do this draft and I'm gonna say Lucas Giolito is back this year, baby, like sure, why not? I mean, there's lots of reasons why not, but if I'm telling myself that as I build this lineup, like there's he could be going. We might be picking him draft like ADP 60 next year. Who knows?
Hopefully he joins Lance Lynn next. That would be a good one to pair the guys that hopefully bounce back and strike a lot of guys out situation.
All right. This is someone I'm not getting a ton of. I'm sort of concerned about Charlie Morton, but the idea of this pitching team right now is just take the falling values as they come to me.
You just concerned about his age?
Yeah. Well, yeah. And just I mean, maybe I'm overcompensating for like the Wainwright downfall. Just the guy that gets there on the breaking stuff. I don't know.
No, the age it's fair because he's definitely getting old. But man, he just continues to put innings up. It's wild what he can do. Innings and strikeouts. He does that very well. But I understand the concerns. Yeah, we are passing you guys up. We're around 17 right now.
All right. Yeah, we kind of got some slow drafters. What's everybody out there? What's everybody drinking? I got Sierra Nevada tonight.
I got a Celsius energy drink. I'm pretty boring right now. Yeah.
That's all right. Anybody out there drinking anything interesting?
I got to pour over coffee.
Oh, you got plans later tonight?
Got an article to write.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
I'm kidding. It's Friday night. Don't do that to yourself.
No, it's okay. Someone earlier, there was a comment. Shit, where did it go?
Look at McCaffrey.
Just rolled something fat.
Well done.
Chris looks like he was born with retinas that include Y and X axes. Lol. That made me laugh and made me think that I'm going to go to bed dreaming of sheets and graphs and stuff tonight. But,
I'll be honest. I didn't put that up because I didn't know if it was insulting. I didn't really understand it, so I didn't put it up because I didn't quite understand it.
That's funny.
Yeah, it's apparently an IPA night. We got Doc Hoppaday.
Doc Hoppaday's good.
Melvin IPA. Bo Sox has got a shiner, and Chris Chip is also rolling. I don't know if he's a rolling guy. Well, I'm just gonna do it. I'm gonna keep the theme going here, and we're gonna take Walker Buehler. I think
spicy.
I've said it before, but I was very ready to be fighting people this year on Walker Buehler. That he's sort of overvalued, but just not come to pass. And there's a lot of risk, but it's not like I don't feel like he's a guy that's never going to pitch this year. I think they're being slow with him, but I think that's because they can be, not because he necessarily needs it. I don't know. We'll see what happens, but as he falls to this 180 range, I've been kind of snapping him up there. I don't know what this means, but Grill is wait till you see this pick. He's apparently sniping you or something.
Doc, now I'm excited to see what we got here.
A different True North Brewery Northern Haze IPA.
I'm just taking one-offs at the end here, so don't worry about it. Hop or whatever. Belichick.
Grill Belichick.
There's Dominguez.
Yep, Marcus Stroman. So he's got two pitchers.
Jeez Louise.
No, 4 pitchers. I'm sorry.
I like that the one person he held principled on and was like, no, fuck this. We're not reaching with Stanton. He's like, I refuse to take Stanton until ADP. Yeah. It's like everyone else, it's just a free for all. And then it's like, all right, begrudgingly, I will take this value.
Now you can be on the team. It's cool.
Yeah.
No one else wanted him. I guess I'll take him. That's wild. It's too much for me.
Here's a guy I just think is wrong where he's being drafted, but also I can't take him, is Carlos Correa. You guys have any positive thoughts about Carlos Correa this year?
No.
Whoa, hold on. Stop the show.
Whoa,
MJ Melendez. What was that? Did someone else take over his draft room? Trent Grisham was there. Nestor Cortez, I don't think he's been drafted yet. What are we doing here? He gave up too early.
The only logical next move is to go bet MJ Melendez for AL MVP, so I'm going to go do that.
That's too good.
If you can't degen a draft, you can at least pick some random futures.
Yeah. Out of all the people to that are left on the board in the outfield, and Melendez's OBP skills are nice. I could see, I guess, some appeal to the story, but interesting. That's all I gotta say.
All right, so this is really interesting. I'd never see Kerry Carpenter fall this far. So we're gonna put him with Riley Green.
Nice.
I honestly don't take a ton of Kerry Carpenter. I know you're big on him, Chris.
This is genius.
Matt's got the big brain here.
Big brain. That's good.
He's got the inside info.
Like, why don't you take Harrison Bader there? Like,
it's going to be Melendez for Bader. That's the trade.
That's the trade. My bad. Yeah. My bad. I totally screwed that one up. Totally. There it is. It's easy. Like, why am I not seeing it? They'll throw in Grisham for fun. Different teams will still make it work.
They got to throw off the algo to make sure they don't get picked up as a shitty draft between just the two teams. So Melendez is the smoke screen.
The massive smoke screen. Wow. That's all I can say. It's wow. Can't wait to see where he goes now. It's like, we just go full off the rails, farther off the rails, I guess.
I think he needs pitching.
He does.
He's got 4 so far.
Nestor, Sean Manaea. There's 2, buddy. I got you, William.
So, as much as I'm worried about Slev's lineup, like this group of guys isn't the worst for the format.
No.
Lucas Giolito, Erod, Mackenzie Gore, Yusei Kikuchi, Kyle Gibson, like all of those guys are individual targets. And, I'll open up the Alec Manoah floor. I'm out, but either you guys in?
As a late round dart, I'm okay with it. Like the way he's building, he needs potential like rebound upside. His whole thing is about rebound upside. So I could see it. Do I have any shares right now? No, but I could see it.
This is a great segue because tomorrow I'm debuting the AA sheet for the new contest that's coming out called The Prospect. And Manoah's going to be like a 7th or 8th round guy in that sheet. So I would recommend.
I love it. That is not a spiteful Toronto fan at all.
Duke is in, though.
That's too
Depending on the night that we are recording stuff, there's like varying levels of vitriol that I have towards this team, and I think the lowest point was the week after the Ohtani debacle. I think that one I did like a 5-minute stand-up routine, just very, very dark, very not good stuff.
Like, I felt bad for you Jays fans on that one. That was just like talking about getting your hopes up for things, like, and then just to get shattered by Shark Tank. Like, what are we doing here? Like, my goodness.
Yeah, Duke is buying into the he was just out of shape, which definitely he looks like he's more in shape in the pictures we're seeing.
As a big man myself, I'll say it's easy to get back out of shape, so watch out.
All right, here's prediction time. How many starts does Max Scherzer get, and how many starts does DeGrom get? I will say that I don't think DeGrom gets any that matter to this contest. So I'm more interested in Max, but I'm saying that he's dust. So I don't know. I don't know how to put a number on that really, other than I'm out.
Yeah, Max is the back, but if you want to be nice, I'd say Max throws 11 starts, DeGrom throws 9.
Oh.
I just got a message from my lawyer, and I'm legally not allowed to mention DeGrom anymore, so I can't comment on him. Scherzer for kind of somewhere in the mid-teens feels nice-ish, maybe. But like, do we even really have good info yet on any kind of timetable or any progress? I feel like it's very murky. Maybe that gets cleared up once like team stuff starts getting underway, but I feel like as of now, they're a no and no for me.
Yeah, I have 0 shares. Again, risk averse. Not even going to deal with it.
William takes Nestor Cortez and Max Kepler.
What are we doing, man? Harrison Bader at least is going to start in center field for the Mets. Come on.
Ooh, this is a good combo. Vodka soda and orange monster, ripping packs of Tops 2024. Adam Lee is having a good night.
That is a great night. Series 1 just came out, 2024. Let's go.
Springs, is that Jeffrey?
Yeah, he's looking at his scar on his elbow.
Yeah.
Sorry, nicest way I can put that one. No, Springs actually, I think, is supposed to come back at some point this year, like mid-season, 2/3 of the way through. I just can't, like Tommy John guys, it takes like 18 months to 2 years to be back to normal. So I'm just not going to waste a pick on him, basically.
If we had a monthly, like just an April tournament, the Springs 2020, April 2023 would be like some Barry Bonds level shit. Like he was looking phenomenal. And that was like what talk of everything for the first like 3 weeks. It was
hashtag
tough.
Most Rays starting pitchers were too.
Yeah. Yeah.
I do think that would be a fun contest. You for a month before the next month, you can draft a tournament, or maybe it's 2 weeks they open. I don't know how big it ends up being, but I think
it's coming. It's coming. I could see this coming. There's so many avenues to just ginning out on things. It is coming.
Yeah, I would definitely play that because, yeah, I just like thinking ahead, and people just have such like recency bias on those sort of contests.
Well, then you could get more schedule oriented. There's like so many ways you could break things down. Potential 2 starters are easier to kind of determine at that point. It could get real fun.
Yeah. So the other format that they rolled out for football was the weekly winners, and I'm starting to think we're not going to get that for baseball.
And honestly, I'm kind of fine with that. Between that and the Eliminator, I think the Eliminator is a way more interesting format, and like the week to week survive in advance of it, I think is a more fun sweat than the weekly tournament aspect of it.
I think it could be fun to kind of combine the two. You do an Eliminator, but after each round you redraft.
Yeah, that would be good.
That could get fun.
I like that idea. I've toyed around with like, could they do something where maybe at the midway mark of the season, there's like not quite a redraft, but like an additional draft. Maybe it's like 5 or 10 rounds, and it's like the reinforcements, and then you get to add some fresh bodies down the stretch. I don't know how. I have no idea how that would actually work, but in my mind, it sounds fun.
Yep.
Yeah. Josh Bell.
I don't mind him late. He's got OBP skills. It's risky with him. Like, you know how streaky he can be. You've seen the peaks, you've seen the valleys, but like at that point in the draft, I could see the appeal, I guess. Or even like De La Cruz, or you have a Jazz Chisholm or something. Bell's a good piece with that. Burger. Like there are some weird, cheap Miami pieces. For like we were talking weird stacks on my show. Miami's a very weird stack, but it's doable.
I think if I look at my list of stacks, Miami might be literally dead last in terms of teams that I have. Nope, they are second last. I have 11% of my teams have some kind of Miami pairing on it. There is one team where I have 1% stacked, and it is one pair of 2 players. That's the only exposure that I have to a single team. You guys can have at that.
Oakland A's?
Nope.
Wow.
Got a lot of Geloff and Rooker. Yeah. A lot of those, all those late ones.
But all you could really dream about on that.
Pretty much.
Like Noda if you're feeling really bored. That's about it. I'm curious. Now I need to know who's the 1% here.
It was last year's second best stack by my research among any teams. It is the Washington Nationals. I have one random,
I can see
probably like
that.
CJ
Lane Thomas,
Abrams.
CJ Abrams.
Lane Thomas, yeah,
Yeah.
one that just does nothing for me.
Yeah, it's rough.
Yeah. All right. So rundown. I built a 7-7-6. Luis Castillo, Jesus Luzardo, Shane Bieber, Jordan Montgomery, Charlie Morton, Walker Buehler, Bryce Miller. A lot of guys, or a couple of guys I don't really go with here in Bieber and Morton, but I like how that came together. Infield is a pretty big San Diego stack with Machado, Bogarts, and Cronenworth. And then I did get Vaughn Grisham with Devers, and then we got Harper and Stott for some small stacks. And then the outfield is a little bit more unstacked. We do have Tatis, Suzuki, Riley Green, Jung-Hoo Lee, Jack Swinski, and Kerry Carpenter. So pretty happy with that result. I'll be honest, like I do so many of these drafts, like I see this and like I'm instantly moving on. Like I don't know, maybe that's a bad thing, but like every draft I like, yeah, that's nice. When's the next one? So let's see. We got
Someone in the chat mentioned the he was hoping it was the pirate stack. Pirate stacks are worth it. Talked about that. Big fan of the weirdness of the pirate stack. Just watch. It's happening.
all right. GMC wants us to check out his team. All right. So he also went 7-7-6. Blake Snell, Grayson Rodriguez, Joe Ryan, Joe Musgrove, Jose Barrios, Yu Darvish, Nathan Eovaldi. I don't think I can pick that apart too much.
Nope, not at all.
I know there's a couple of your guys in there, Chris. And the infield, Altuve, Bregman, Will Smith, Carlos Correa, Andrew Vaughn. And he did go with Pena and Abreu, so the nice big Houston stack. He did mix in Chas McCormick, Betts, Trout, Robert, Buxton, and Ward. So, I mean, I think that's a sick team. Don't have
5 Astros without the main like 3. That's a very intriguing, different way to go Astros. I'll say that much.
That's true.
That team is hot. That's like 10 guys that I draft often. So the JMC is coming after my own heart with this one.
Nice.
All right. Well, I know you guys do have to run, so I know there was some call for another draft, but we'll have to put that off to another week. Chip needs 5 more to fill the next one, so go draft with Chip. But Bubba, thank you for jumping on this, and Chris, I appreciate you too.
Well, thanks for having me, guys. It's fun. We'll do it again. This was fun on a Friday night. Knock out a draft or 2 or something. And again, thanks for joining me earlier, guys. It's just awesome. Keep doing what you're doing. It's great to see the game grow.
All right, so everybody have good drafts, and for Bubba and Chris and myself, have a great weekend.